How do you truly get out of the yo-yo? I do okay for 4 to 6 weeks and feel amazing and then go right back to my old habits. For some reason, when I see weight gain, I regress. And when I see weight loss, I treat myself. Since joining Half Size Me, I only have seemed to gain. It is so weird to me because the desire is there, but not the drive. I don't know what I can do to get the drive. Thanks, Heather, for all your advice and inspiration. So, we've been talking about this a lot in the 30 Days to Better Habits challenge that we're doing. It sounds like a couple things, or possibly three things. One, you're doing the traditional 4 to 6 weeks. That's very, very typical. And that's kind of when someone's doing a diet. Like that's the time frame that comes to mind. And what I mean by that is your habits that you so there should if you're doing this from a habit change perspective, in 4 to 6 weeks, you maybe would have altered a grand total. I'm going to say anywhere from 3 to 6 of your behaviors at most. What I mean by that is you maybe had tracking your breakfast would be one behavior. Tracking lunch would be another behavior. Tracking dinner would be another behavior. Adding in a glass of water would be another behavior. Adding in a 10-minute walk would be another behavior. When I'm talking about adding in your habits, I'm literally talking about one small thing. What most dieters do and why the yo-yo cycle even exists is they buy a book, join Weight Watchers, start a program. They buy into everything. They decide tomorrow they're going to do it all right. They follow the point system. They make the special recipes. They start looking up all the stuff online. It becomes a project, almost like a little part time job, if you will. What I would say to that person is okay, you think this is what you want to do. How about we do this? Why don't we add one vegetable in at lunch? You could be tracking your points, but we're not aiming for a point target right now. We're just getting used to habit of a vegetable. We might end up adding in some lean protein at dinner. We're going to make really small systematic changes. The reason is because when you try to change everything, you try to change how you eat, tracking what you eat, altering all your social commitments around restaurant eating because you feel you can't do it or you're not able to be compliant. When you're limiting alcohol and treats and all these other things, it feels like it takes a Herculean effort because it does. You're talking about doing a lot of change in a very short period of time. People don't work that way. I've never seen somebody who's like, yes, I can change all this and make it permanent. You can do it for 4 to 6 weeks. Anyone can. What you can't do is live that way for the rest of your life. You haven't been trained, if you will, to do that behavior so much that it truly is a habit. For it to be a true habit means you have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and really focus on it. And that's not what we give ourselves time to do. In the habit challenge, literally, what I've told some people, it's like they want to be in bed by a certain time. Literally, the only habit they're working on is being in bed by a certain time. It might be making their dinner at breakfast time. That's the one habit. That's how you want to think about doing it because then you get out of that yo yo thing. It's not about, can I get all of these behaviors mastered as soon as possible? It's, hey, I got my whole life ahead of me. I'm going to take these one at a time. And here's how you know, if your family has no clue what you're doing, they don't think you're on a program, they don't think you're on a diet, they have no idea anything is even going on, then you know you're doing it at the right speed, where everybody's kind of like nothing's really changed and everything is still moving normally. That's what you're looking for, one small systematic habit change at a time. As far as motivation goes, or this feeling of, yeah, feeling amazing and then going right back to my habits. Oh, yeah. And then the weight gain and the regression and seeing the weight loss. Okay. So, again, if you're thinking about this, going back to our previous discussion, Katie, what's going to be more impactful to your weight long term? It's the habits. So, if you want to, if the scale messes with your mind, put the scale away and actually just laser beam your attention on your habits. Am I eating that vegetable every day at lunch? Am I getting in that glass of water every day with my coffee? Am I starting to track my breakfast every day? Like, am I building those habits in and make that your focus? Because if that's your focus, then over time, you won't let your weight mess with your head. The other thing that I would encourage you to think about is if you did feel the need to weigh yourself, stop worrying about, did I lose weight? Did I gain weight? Take the Getting Sane with the Scale course. and start to learn how to focus on your weekly average weight, not your daily weight. Your daily weight's going to fluctuate 5 to 6 pounds either way. So, actually putting any weight, no pun intended, on that is really a disservice to you. Don't do that. Your weight will fluctuate. There's a lot of things outside of your control. What's in your control is how you eat, your habits, your behaviors. The result, the weight, I always tell my clients, don't rush the results for the over the process. The process is the most important. The results are not. The results will come. If you prioritize the results over the process, you will not succeed and stick with this long term. The results should be coming as a byproduct of all of the changes you are making over time. That's the process. The result is, what did I weigh today? And when you even look at what you weigh today, realize that that is just a one moment in time snapshot. It is not what your weight is actually doing. Your weekly average weight is a much better plottable on a slope. If we're talking about a graph, it's something you can see. And that's going to make it a lot more sense to you. So just want to encourage you to take the Getting Sane with the Scale course. I want to encourage you to be really evaluating what you were doing over that 4 to 6 weeks and looking and seeing how many actual behaviors you were changing and say, maybe potentially, was I trying to rush the process for the results? And what is it I could do to scale back to where this is actually livable and maintainable and not me rushing through this? And then as far as the motivation kind of idea, I don't know what the drive, that's what it is. You said the drive. What I want to encourage you to think about, and I shared this in the 30 days of back to, or the 30 days of better habits. We want motivation to produce action, but it's the other way around. You must have action to feel motivation. Okay. So I use this example. If you are thinking, and I think I just discussed this in our last one too, and this is the perfect time, by the way, we're at the end of February, almost beginning of March. This is where whatever you were doing that was getting you probably killer results in January is starting to fade now. Now you're getting into that slower part of the weight loss. You're going to get into the place now where it's like, okay, this isn't as exciting. And I'm actually putting together a permanent fat loss crash course where I actually do have a really good infographic on the yo-yo cycle. This is that part where we start to peter out, we hit the wall, and then before we know it, we're back to where we were. Of course, we gain weight in that process, and then we repeat the cycle, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure we safeguard against that by not expecting ourselves to do drastic changes in the first 4 to 6 weeks. Slow it down, maybe remove the scale or take the Getting Sane with the Scale course, change your view on that. And then with the motivation, say, I don't have to be motivated. That is totally not necessary. I can feel nothing. I can feel, I can feel angry, happy, sad. I can feel down in the dumps. I can feel anything, but I can still choose to do action. You choose to brush your teeth. Why? Why do we brush our teeth? Because we like how we feel after. Nice clean mouth, minty fresh breath. People want to kiss and talk to us. We get a good result from that, but you're not motivated. You don't wake up in the morning going, you know what? I got to drive to brush my teeth today. I mean, it's just like burning. I can't wait to get in there. Watch out, people. I'm brushing, I'm flossing, I'm toothpicking. It's all happening. We don't do that. We don't care. We get in there, we do it. We do it because why? We know the results it produces, and we'd rather have those than not. That's got to be your attitude about all this. This has got to become as mechanical, and I hate to use the word boring, as brushing your teeth. I had a client. She's awesome. She's lost like 15 pounds. She's starting to do strength training. She's breaking through all those mental hurdles of what she should be eating in order to lose weight. She's eating more than she's ever eaten. She's realizing that the weight loss is slower, but she's loving her life. And she said to me, Heather, the first time in my life, this is boring. She's like, I'm not thinking about weight loss. She's like, I have all this mental space to spend on a thing. She's like, I just keep showing up. I keep hitting that 1 calorie target. My weight's going down. I'm doing the behaviors. She's like, in my past, I was so ginned up. I was so like, ooh, I'm losing weight. I'm doing all these things. And it was like my focus was all into it. She's like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I've never seen this before. I've never had this experience. And I said, this is what maintenance is like. You do the behaviors very mechanically. but you aren't looking for a result. You're not looking for an outcome. You just do it because you know the result it produces long term. It's the same thing with the weight loss, right? She's in that mindset now because she's doing it in a different way than she's ever done it before. She's actually pivoted her focus. She's focusing on, how do I lose this with maintenance in mind? How do I lose this in a sustainable way? She's done the crash diets before. She's been all ginned up and excited about it. She's lost weight, but she's also gained it all back, right? So what we have to realize is that that amount of motivation, that burn, that feverish heat that it all produces, that is a short-term thing. Nobody, when they're going into a war, when they're going into a competition, when they're having their big playoff game, they're ginned up. They're like vibrating with excitement, right? Why? Because they're in a really big climactic moment in that moment, right? It's a 2-hour game, it's a 4-hour event. They can be that way because they don't have to be that way for every single training session that they go to. Here's the deal. This whole weight management thing, it's an everyday thing. You're training every day. Your motivation, your energy level cannot be at a peak level. It just can't. You'll burn out. You've got to bring her down, right, to something that's maintainable, sustainable. And you actually are able to do these behaviors repetitively over and over and over again until you're like my client who tells me, "Hey, this is kind of boring and I don't know what to do with that feeling." What do I do? I'm not obsessively thinking about this. Like, this is strange. That's really the way it should be. It should not be your life focus to lose weight. It should be a byproduct of your habit change, reducing calories over time and adding in some activity. That's really what it should be. It should not be a something you're obsessing about. So just want to encourage you, don't feel you must have a drive. You don't. I'm freeing you of that. Poof. Drive and motivation you do not need. Shuffled off your shoulders. Stop looking for it. Stop waiting for it. Start doing the actions like brushing your teeth to get the result. You and just say to yourself, I feel no motivation for this today. I'm still going to do it because I know I'm going to like how it feels later. You don't feel motivated to change a kid's diaper, but you like the end result when they're not screaming and pitching a fit and they don't smell like feces. You get the reward of doing the behavior. Changing the actual diaper, nobody's motivated. I mean, parents try and pass it off to somebody else all the time, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever you can grab, right? Because you've changed enough diapers. But you also know that at the end of the day, you're going to change the kid's diaper. Why? Because there's a reward attached, but it comes after, not to be motivated to do it. That's how you want to think. Why are you motivated to show up at work every day? May not be because you like your job. You may totally dislike your job. But the motivation for you is probably every 2 weeks or at the end of every week, you get a paycheck, which allows you to have the lights and the food and the things that you need to do your life, right? So even if it's not the job you love, you will show up at that job and do the work because you want the reward that comes. See, we always are thinking about weight loss as we should be feeling X in order to do it. And then, unfortunately, because we think we should feel that, when we don't, we think that there's something wrong with us. Maybe we really don't want this as bad as we thought. And then we just might as well quit and move on to something else. No, because you'll feel like that about everything. Anything worthwhile of having is going to require you to put work in. You're not going to escape work. And if that part of it is a problem, right, then you accept your life where it is now and you say, this is where I'm just going to stay. But the truth is, that's not why you're here. You want something more, or you wouldn't be doing this work. So the question then becomes, how do I let go of that expectation that I should be feeling motivation? I say, I know I'm not supposed to be feeling motivation, and I'm still going to choose to do the behavior anyway. The behavior of weighing and measuring your food, tracking it, and eating it requires no motivation. You were going to eat anyway. So you're just choosing to do the thing that's going to produce the better outcome later on.